Welcome, everyone. It's a pleasure to be with you and to share this time with you. I hope you're all staying safe because this is the time for safety and for protection. My name is Gayatri Naraine, or you can call me Sister Gayatri. I live in New York City and I am here with the Brahma Kumaris. This is our center in Queens, New York. You all may have heard that Elmhurst was, at one point of time, that is in the earlier part of this year, the epicenter of the COVID virus. Now that it's stabilized, everyone is taking care. It is so good to see that people care. And that is what matters to me the most. So if you wanted to know a little bit about what I like and what I prefer, so my preferences, is that when people take life seriously and when they take those precautions to keep themselves protected and safe. So when we walk out on the streets and we see people wearing their masks, it gives me great pleasure. I don't want to say too much about myself because some of you may already know me and others would have read about me on the blurb of the invitation. But I prefer you to get to know me for yourselves. The subject that we are going to be sharing together is exploring our inner tapestries. The subject in and of itself tells me that there is an assumption that there's already a tapestry inside and that we have to now explore that. So what is this tapestry that is inside of us? That's the big question. And so how are we going to be exploring it? One of the characteristics of an explorer is curiosity. A curiosity to discover and a curiosity to observe and a curiosity to make meaning of. So with the nature of an explorer, with curiosity and with wonder, we're going to be entering to explore our tapestries. I'm going to share with you my story of how I do it and how important it is for me to treat the exploring of my tapestry in a transformative way. A tapestry has stitches, colors, design, and the colors are wonderful. They are multicolored depending on where that tapestry has been woven. the design are very unique. I don't think because they're handmade, there is any one same tapestry. So there's a unique feature about having a tapestry, and that's why people like them. And so the stitches, I think, is the work of art because they're the stitches that make the threads look as colorful. The threads look as though they're beautifully designed because of those stitches. And of course, the needle is in the hands of a human being. Another aspect about a tapestry is that it is made to show a whole story. Many of the tapestries, especially the large ones, are showing stories or episodes from stories or experiences or nature. But the ones with the stories and the episodes of the stories are the ones that I like the best. I took a long time thinking about this, exploring my inner tapestry, and I came to a conclusion. And maybe this conclusion is based on the fundamentals of my teachings, the teachings that I received, and the teachings I use to explore myself with. The first teaching I received was something phenomenal. That teaching said to me that innate within me is my divinity. And that divinity was actually original to me. It was something that I have with me lying deep within the layers of my being. And if I follow these teachings, if I study these teachings, if I apply these teachings to my life, that original being, that divine being, will show itself to me. But I never saw that as a tapestry. I always saw it in the form of a being, a human being, in his or her divine form. And so, researching within my own self as to what I should be looking at if I'm exploring my inner tapestry, I realize that this is the only tapestry that exists. This tapestry is original to every soul. So every soul has its own tapestry that is original to that soul. So that means when I'm exploring my tapestry, I have to do it as an individual. I have to do it knowing that this is a journey I have to take in order to explore. I think all explorers find themselves being alone, being in what I call solitude. Because for that explorer to see what it is he's observing, I think he cannot be distracted even by fellow explorers. After they have discovered whatever it is they found, then coming back together maybe they can then discuss it. That is, if a group of explorers went in to explore. But I think even as a group, they still need to remain as individuals because it requires from them a certain presence so that they're able to see as an observer. They're observing things and they want to see everything. They don't want to miss anything just in case it was something very important. And so going into myself to touch my own tapestry, I know that I have to do it as an individual. And going in as an individual, I need to understand that it's taking me on a journey, but this journey has also a transformative way. So I'm going within and I'm moving to touch that original tapestry, but it is a journey that I have to pass through in order to get to that original tapestry. And the way of this journey is transformative. I need a very important thing for this journey. And even before I can see what it is I need to do, I first of all have to see who it is that I am. I believe that this understanding that we are souls is so significant to our lives that it cannot be dismissed or underestimated. Because it is the soul that actually takes that journey within to explore its inner tapestry. But before the soul can go in, the soul needs to realize itself as a soul. We are all walking around as human beings, but we are in the human form. And that being is there, but that being is like living in the cloud of ignorance, in a cloud of materialism, in a cloud of contradictions, in a cloud of complications. And so they are actually consumed by the darkness of the world, at least in today's world. And it is so difficult for them to even look at themselves in the mirror and say, hey, you know what? I'm a being of light. They have no clue. They are souls, beings of light. They may think I'm life and I'm living, or I'm energy and I'm interacting, or I'm part of nature. But the profound understanding that I am a soul is what allows me to take this journey. It is almost like the hero's journey. So exploring the inner tapestry is actually to move in like a hero, not like a victim of the world, or a victim to my own selves, or a victim to my hopes and my desires and my aspirations and my dreams and my everything else that I have. But it is for me to move within like a hero and not like a victim. Well, the only way I could be that hero explorer is to realize, even at the most basic level, that we are these lights. We are these souls. Why is it so important? Because the soul has an incredible capacity to know. It has an incredible knowing. And when I'm aware of myself as a soul, I am aware of that incredible knowing. So they say the soul's wisdom has an incredible way of knowing. So I would say we start our explorations by moving within and as heroes with the light of our souls so that we can see what it is we will be encountering. But before we start entering into our inside of ourselves to see what lies there, I just want to give a few other context in which it gives us a kind of an idea what to expect when we enter. This tapestry, that is the original tapestry of the soul, is foundational to the soul. That tapestry is said to be made in the image and likeness of God. It's got all the likeness of a supreme being. It's got all the likeness of the source, the divine, God, whatever you call that being. And that is how the soul's connection with God comes alive. It comes alive when the image, those qualities that are in God, become fundamental to the foundation of my tapestry. So, what are the qualities of God? God is love. So my tapestry has love. My tapestry has peace. My tapestry has truth. My tapestry has joy and happiness. And my tapestry has purity. So those are the fundamental quality threads that actually wove that original tapestry within me. But if I were to look at myself as I go in, and let's go in, we move into ourselves and we're looking at ourselves and we're seeing. What are we seeing? Maybe what we're seeing is a tatty, old, dirty design. And that's what we think we are. And so when we see that tatty old design, we then say to ourselves, how can I ever believe, have faith in, or even consider that my original tapestry is such a beautiful one? But even within the topmost design, the layer of what exists in me, I still yearn for love. I cannot exist without love. I still yearn for the truth. I still yearn for happiness. People are in pursuit of happiness, but I still yearn for it. It's there within me. I want to have pure motives and pure intentions and pure thoughts and pure feelings. So those fundamental virtues within my original tapestry actually permeated all the layers, the designs that I would find within me as I'm exploring, and even in the most degraded state, or even in the most tatty old dirt, grimy layer that's within me, those are still things that are fundamental to my life. So, with the light of the soul, with the awareness of the hero entering into its journey to explore this tapestry, I must go in with this deep faith that there is something that I still retain that connects me to that tapestry. And what connects me is that I am the hero, of course, and I'm traveling through, but I am exploring in order to discover. I'm exploring to discover those things that are meaningful to me even now. So I move in and then I look at the first layer, the design. And these layers and these designs have actually suppressed the original tapestry. The layers with their various designs are called the experiences accumulated from various births. So each birth that I take as a soul left within me a layer over my original tapestry. And that layer has its own design, its own stitches, its own colors, its own style, because it is made up of the some experiences I have accumulated within me through actions, thoughts, words, feelings, interactions, relationships, etc. So these things create the pattern on the layers that are within me. What is fascinating about the hero's journey, the explorer being the hero, is that when it becomes aware of itself as the soul, the light that's taking it through these different layers, the incredible wisdom, that incredible knowing is that the soul will see both the darkness and the light. And in seeing the darkness and the light, the explorer wouldn't judge. The explorer wouldn't be distracted. The explorer will keep seeing each and every layer of design as a full experience, and is looking at that layer of design in its own right. Now, we may be at our worst we have ever been as human beings, but when we start to explore ourselves and move within ourselves, we are actually starting with the layer of experience. And the layer of experience may be the worst experiences we've had so far. In this birth, we're still creating the design of that layer of this birth. But when we look within, the explorer wouldn't judge or wouldn't discriminate against or wouldn't be guilty of or wouldn't have cause to say this layer is lesser than. Because the layer is what it is according to the time it is in. And so in exploring this tapestry, I need to be very much aware that walking this path, this journey, and having this transformation way is very important information, because I know that when I look within, I'm not going to see the original tapestry, even though I'm told that that is my original state. That is my original design. That is my original style. But what I'll see is what I need to deal with first and foremost. So it's important not to judge and not to discriminate against yourself and not to put yourself down, because you are being the observer, you are having the observer's eye, and you're seeing each layer in its whole way. You're not seeing it in parts, but you're seeing it in its whole way. Now, this kind of attitude, an attitude of wanting to see what is real and wanting to learn that which lies within me, I have to look at myself as a detached observer. And so when I go in, I know I will see darkness and light. I will see truth and falsehood. I will see right and wrong. But I have to accept it, that these are things lying in my layers. And the transformative way means when I move through, these things will be transformed. And as each layer is transformed, they kind of disappear. Layer after layer, the design just falls away, and eventually I return to that original tapestry. How did these designs and layers got formed? Well, I said each design and each layer is of the births we've taken. But each birth we've taken, we've actually taken them in different periods of time. So when I'm exploring to return to that original tapestry, the explorer is seeing it in relation to time. So the first layers that I would see are the darkest layers within me. They are the layers that we say that God created at the time when the world is at its darkest. And that is the time of the Iron Age. So they're like iron layers, and the design on these iron layers sometimes can seem very difficult to remove. So it's like anger, it's like lust, it's like control, it's like ego, it's like greed, it's like attachments. All the things we're seeing in the world today that is making the world outside such a small world that it cannot even deal with itself anymore. But who is the world? We are the world. And so when we're looking in, we begin not to blame, but to see how that those iron layers could be removed. Deeper than that, as we move through and through and through, and of course it's a very slow and a very gentle and a very silent, a journey that's taken in solitude, a journey that requires silence, and a journey that requires a lot of serenity, a lot of peace of mind, a lot of peace in the soul. But the way we will walk this transformative way through all those layers, say for the first one, it would be the Iron Age. It would be those iron layers that are lying within us. We can do that with help. What takes us through the path, what the soul requires, with its wisdom and incredible knowing, is the teachings. It's teachings to know how to walk this path. And this is why when you come on a spiritual path, you're given teachings. Because the teachings are making meaning to what you are discovering as an explorer. But along with the teachings, what we need is help from a higher being. And the reason we need the help from a higher being is because we want to melt each layer. We want to dissolve each layer as we encounter them, as we see them, as we come face to face with them. And so the path of the hero is connected to a higher power, because the light of the soul is taking light from God, and that light from God is taking him through the transformative way. Without the light from God, the way would not be transformative. It would be as though I'm hitting into my layers. And each time I hit into my layer, I'm hurt. And so people turn away from a spiritual path because they go in there and they see such discomfort. So they run away from the discomfort. But discomfort is fine. But if you run away from it, that discomfort turns into severe discomfort. And that's bad. That's not fine. That's very bad. And so it's the courage that we need to say, you know what, when I move into my exploration, I'm moving in under the canopy of a protection that is guiding me through this path. The teachings are guiding me. The teachings are divine insights. They open up things that I wouldn't have been able to see had I not explored myself. So then moving through, I move through these iron layers, and then the soul, of course, being able to see the darkness and the light, is watching me move. The soul is watching itself, observing itself, move through the iron layers and the iron designs of experiences and hopes and desires and dreams that I carry. I began to see them all as though they're making so much meaning. Yes, that's why I'm feeling this desire today, because I felt it in the past. It's there in one of my layers, and it's coming up again, and I'm having this desire. And so this transformative path means that every layer I dissolve is going to teach me a lesson. And these lessons are usually signals, and they're usually signs. And so I will see the sign and I will learn the lesson. It's a very, very learning process. And it allows us to go deeper into the next layer with the lesson that I have learned and with the strength I have taken from that lesson. The soul will see itself moving from iron, dark, and then it would see the light changing. And so again it moves into other layers that's suppressing its original tapestry. And as it moves through those, the other layers, it realizes that it's lightening up. So we say that as it lightens up, you know that you're moving closer to that original tapestry. We call this exploration a transformative way because it is also a purifying way. The soul is being purified of its layers as it explores them. And so from the iron, it would move into copper, the light. The light from darkness becomes like a copper light. And again, it begins to see how its layers and designs and its experiences got formed. And then it moves from the copper light into like moonlight, a silver kind of light. Then the soul begins to feel happy. That is when we say, oh, that soul has a presence. That soul brings a light. Well, because the soul is removing the layers as it explores itself through its spiritual path and through its transformative way to reach to its tapestry, which is the final destination. Now, the destination is not just reaching a place or reaching a person or achieving an aim or accomplishing success and perfection, but the destination is to remember. Each step I take on this path to return to my original tapestry through exploring my different layers, each step I take on this journey is a step that brings me to a destination, because each step carries a lesson and it carries a signal and it carries a sign and it carries strength. So from this moonlight, I move away all the layers and move away all the layers, and then I finally arrive into the brilliant sunlight, into that light of what people call that light that is so bright that you cannot even look at it. And so that's the explorer's journey for me. That's the exploration of my tapestry. And that is the understanding that I came up with when I thought about this subject. So let's now go into some meditation and let's connect to this journey as a transformative way. Center yourself and see yourself as a being of light. This light is my explorer's light. This light has the wisdom of incredible knowing. This light operates in silence, in solitude, and in peace, serenity. This light, the soul, loves to explore. To explore itself is fascinating because it's full of amazing moments. The soul moves into the exploration of itself, seeing itself as one with an original tapestry. The soul feels the call, and the soul has the quest to rediscover its authentic self, its true self, and its divine self. The journey of exploring its inner tapestry requires it to be in solitude. The soul also needs the guidance of the Supreme Light, because it was the Supreme Light that revealed to the soul the secret of this original tapestry. And so the soul moves through its inner journey as a hero, a hero traveling the transformative way. The secret that this original tapestry is hidden by layers and layers and layers of experiences with different designs, stitches, colors, the soul must move through. But each layer ignites a memory of the original tapestry. And so this memory is like remembering. And remembering in each step of the explorer's journey, the soul's journey is a destination. Under the canopy of God's light, the soul has found the secret to its authentic self, because it remembers it. And in that remembrance, that authentic self became clearer. Let me continue this journey and let me do so as a hero, because a hero's journey is intriguing. It is uplifting. And it is trusting. Om Shanti. I hope you found what I just said useful to you, and I hope you will experiment with the explorer's journey as a hero, and you will move through your layers one by one until you touch your original tapestry. Thank you.